And now joining us on the Slip and Dip podcast is Mike the Truth Jackson. Everybody knows he's the man getting ready to face CM Punk at UFC 225. How's it going over there, man?
It's going well. Just wrapped up my Sunday workout. Feeling good, man. Actually feeling better than I thought. I had to take yesterday off because I had to do a little road trip for a photo shoot. So I didn't get to work out yesterday. But, you know, I got it in today, and I feel great.
Yeah. Sitting there in the UFC kit. I see you already representing.
Brandon.
Yeah, man. So I guess a lot of people were kind of tripping out yesterday because they announced the order of the card. They got you guys on the main card, and Holly Holmes' fight is on the prelims. I've already seen you clap back at a few people, so I mean, the placement of the card, man. Like, I know how you feel about it, but just kind of give the people some insight onto why this shouldn't be an issue.
Well, first, like I was aware of I was gonna be on a pay-per-view card. I mean, a long time ago. You know, look, you have this polarizing figure like Phil Brooks. You know, with the CM Punk character, you can't put a guy like this on anything but the main card. You know, you have to put him, or you have to put him on the main card. You can't put him on the undercard. You know, because it doesn't make sense. You know, I'm hearing the first fight with Gall, he made from what I saw disclosed was $500,000. But then I'm hearing all these other numbers like $1 million or whatever. But regardless, even if you make $100,000, you're not fighting on the prelims for $100,000. You dig? So it only makes sense. And then it's a business, man. First and foremost, and you got these clowns that they just running mouths. You know, like I know you saw the cat today. He's a little upset. He's like throwing shade. He's like, man, I don't understand why they're on the main card and Holly's on the undercard. Because it's a business. That's why.
Exactly.
You know, the crazy thing about it, and I responded to the tweet is, you have these UFC fans. Like, they're not fight fans. Because if you say something like that to me, you're telling me you're a UFC fan only, right? So you have this opportunity to see Megan Anderson and Holly Holm. You're looking at former Invicta champion, former UFC champion, and you get that fight for free, and you're upset about it?
Right.
What? Look, if I were a fan, I'd say, hey, the only card on the pay-per-view I want is Mike Jackson and CM Punk. I just want that one fight, and I want that rest of the card for free. You dig? So these guys, man, they so silly. I don't want, you know, I mean, I'm more in a happier place for myself. So I'm not gonna call them idiots. I'm not gonna say they're idiots, right? But they're idiots, and I just don't get it. I don't, man. But these guys, they're all in their feelings and all the other stuff, man. So at the end of the day, it is what it is, and I'm not losing any sleep over it.
Mike, how cool is this to see your name in there? I know you've been in a UFC fight before, but for you to be kind of like, I want to say obscure, but you getting that shine, and you know the UFC's got your back, which is all that matters at the end of the day. That's what's signing the check.
I mean, for me, you know, it's cool. You know, I don't, like, I was at my crew, my coach's house last night, you know, celebrating his birthday. We were watching the fights as well. And, like, you know, they ran the promo. I wasn't funny when the promo ran, my back was to the TV, and everyone started shouting, oh, and I turned around and I saw it, and I was like, all right, that's cool. And went back. You know, for me, like, my mentality of anything is, like, you have to act like you've been here before. You dig? Mm-hmm. And I've been here, but I haven't been at this level. But I'm a professional, man, at the end of the day, and I can't get caught up in all this hype. You know, for me, people have been asking me, like, every day, yo, are you excited for the fight? And to be honest with you, I'm not going to say I'm not excited about the fight, but for me, this is bigger than the fight. You know, this fight is more than it's just me. You know, this is, again, I've been saying it from day one, it's all about the brand. It's all about elevating the Mike the Truth brand. And the brand is bigger than me. You know, so people have to understand that when I get put on, everybody that's riding with me, they get put on too. And I don't think people understand, like, the vast space that I cover. Like, I cover all all of Houston, the majority of Texas. So you have all of these fighters that I'm taking pictures, I'm writing stories, I'm writing all these things about these guys. So when I blow up, they're gonna blow up too, because now I'm gonna have all of these eyes on me and on my website, and my eyes are on these guys. You know, I even looked at the upcoming roster for the Contender Series. Like, I know half the dudes on there. I can start. Look, we got Greg Hardy. We got a Kevin Holland. We got Mike the True Security. They call him the True Security. Look, this dude, his name is Juan Adams. He's a heavyweight. He's like 6'5", 265, right? And he cuts to 265. This dude's gonna be a star. And watch out. His name is Juan Adams. He's gonna be in the Contender Series. The Sage Northcutt. Derek, I can go on and on about all the people that I've been covering way before anyone knew who they were, way before they got into the UFC. So, again, this is bigger than me. This is about the brand and everybody that's riding with me.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It goes way back. Like, I remember, you being at a fight. It was one of the Sin Combat shows that I had guys that I was training with were fighting, and you were there. And it's just way back in the, it's like it just goes back, man. Like you are on the scene everywhere down in this area, man. And to see you get this opportunity is pretty cool. It's pretty cool because the last we were at the when me and you were side by side at the Austin card. We go up there, and we're kind of tripping out. Well, I think it was also in Dallas too, right?
Right.
We're like tripping out, like obviously like the crowd size, everybody's going crazy. You're gonna get to experience that. With the
night popping.
You're gonna get to experience all that, the crowd going crazy in the United Center. Like, have you given all that kind of stuff, the thought?
The whole thing, like, it hit me recently. It's not even about the fight itself when it comes to the United Center. I'm a basketball fan. First and foremost, basketball is my favorite sport. I grew up in the Jordan era. I get to fight in the house that Jordan built.
Yeah, that's cool.
So for me, like, that's bigger than all of this. And the funny, another one thing, and this one is gonna really blow your mind. So it hit me when, speaking of Holly Holm, it's cool because I was shooting photos and writing stories on Holly Holm years ago. Now we fight on the same card together. I don't.
Hey, Mike, I told the NBA. I saw you at the LFA when Cynthia Calvillo smashed Montana Stewart.
What about Montana?
I saw you. Remember, we were in the lobby during the unorganized weigh-ins and thing you having.
Oh yeah.
but I covered the NBA too. So I know you closed the whole state, but you down in the Houston area. Do you really think the Rockets gonna pull off this upset? If they do, your boy will be at the finals if they do, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
We winning it all, baby. We going all the way.
Is he gonna show up though? He don't show up in the conference finals. Is he gonna show up?
Who not showing up?
I'm saying it's Harden gonna show up. He didn't show up last year when they needed him. You didn't watch Game 6, did you?
That's last year.
Look, you bringing up old stuff, but we're not in last year. We here right now.
The only indicator of history is recent history.
We cooking. Look, Beard is cooking like I'm about to go cook Phil on June 9th.
Hey, there you go. So
I like how you call by his real name. Right? Like when you see him, do you like say, "What's up, Phil?" Or you don't call no CM Punk?
His mama named him Phil. I'm calling him Phil. So here's the thing. Like, look how big this has gotten. It's gotten so big that by me calling this dude Phil, when all the interviews I'm doing now, people are calling, yo, so when you fighting Phil, and I don't say nothing, like in my head I'm laughing, is because it goes back to all about branding, and marketing. And that's how, look, I trolled my way into the UFC, to my second fight on the pay-per-view. But again, it's all about the perception. You dig? So for this whole time, the way I've been marketing and promoting this, I mean, first of all, I have all the respect for Phil. No, there is no animosity, nothing like that. I have all the utmost respect for him simply because of his willingness to step into a cage and fight, you know? So, with that said, you have to take, it's almost like when people call him CM Punk, it's almost like he's perceived that this superhero, this icon. And I get it, because in the wrestling world, that is him. But this isn't the wrestling world. This is real life. This is unscripted. And the consequences are, I mean, look, anything can happen in a fight. But I'm coming in there to win, and I'm coming in there to win in spectacular fashion. So this superhero, this sort of icon of the CM Punk character, I can't get caught up in that. Mm-hmm. You know, because if you take that away from him, he's just a man. And he's a man with only one fight. One combat fight. I had multiple, and I've had tens of, I don't even know how many fights I've had. I've had, as an amateur and a professional, is more than 20. You know, so to me, it's like I can't get caught up in this whole CM Punk gimmick. At the end of the day, he's a man. He's not CM Punk. He's Phil Brooks, and he's falling too.
Falling too? I like it, man. I like it. So one of the things, like after your first fight with Mickey Gall, you immediately put the journalist hat back on. Is that going to happen again?
No, so I know someone brought that up, and it wasn't that I put on the journalist hat. To be honest with you, the reason I came back out and worked Media Row, or not even worked, I came and hung out, is because I didn't look. They just wanted us to sit in the back, and me, I can't sit still. Like I gotta. Like they wanted me to just sit in the back and watch it on TV, and I was just like, man, I would rather go watch live. You know, I didn't even have to go sit, you know, in Media Row. I could have sat wherever, but I wanted to watch the fights live. I didn't want to sit in the back. So for me, I looked at it as just as, hey, I know, because it was like Jeremy Botter. You know, that was my guy. He texted me and he was like, hey, you want to come out? And I was like, well, yeah, I'd rather go sit out there with y'all than sit in the back here. And man, Mickey Gall's sister, fine. Yeah, that was kind of a dilemma. I was like, go sit with Mickey Gall. But then I was like, Mickey just beat me. She ain't gonna try to holler at me, right? So I was like, let me go sit outside instead of go sit back and look at her fine self.
See who? Who's fine self?
Mickey Gall's
Mickey Gall's sister, yeah. That's funny.
Hey, tell me this. Me and Matt go back and forth. Do you think Mackenzie Dern gonna get a belt in the UFC when it's all said and done?
Get a who?
Get a belt. You think? Or she's all hype? I think she's all hype. Matt thinks she's legit. This ain't jiu-jitsu.
Well, it's not hype though. So what it is you have a chick who's really good at jiu-jitsu, and you people have to understand that women's MMA isn't at the same level as men's MMA. If this was a male fighter with Mackenzie Dern's talents, no one would be talking about it really. Like they would hype it up a little bit, you know. But I mean, think about it. Like, look at the Gracies right now. These dudes are fighting in Bellator.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they're at. But in women's MMA, it's different. So when you have look, I don't know about y'all, but I love weigh-ins day when Mackenzie Dern is fighting when she was with LFA. I was look. I was right there like this, like.
Yeah. You like that booty?
I like the whole Mackenzie Dern. I love it. Look, I love them cheeks. Yeeks.
I love them cheeks.
So I like the little muffin top she got going on. She's a beautiful woman. She got these big things up top. She got the yeeks in the back. She's a jiu-jitsu world champion. You have to market her as such. No one's marketing her as like she's the best fighter. They're really just marketing her as a jiu-jitsu black belt jumping into fighting. And you look at her record, she's beaten some legit chicks, despite the whole weight thing. Now, again, I've been there since day one, and the weight thing has always been an issue. Yeah. You know, I know a lot of things that the masses don't know, like behind the scenes stuff, you know, and it really is crazy how it all happens. But a lot of these, she's gotten away with so much stuff because of her stature in jiu-jitsu. And so when you have someone who's so good at jiu-jitsu, She's a beautiful girl. You have to get behind her.
Absolutely.
And as far as the hype, again, they're not hyping her up as a fighter. But as far as getting a belt, she'll never get a belt. And it's not to knock her skills. I just don't think she has that same passion for MMA as she does for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Do you think she'll make a lot of money though? Like you get like if she would have got on Dancing with the Stars like Paige Van Zandt, would she just be gone? Because you know Paige Van Zandt had a lot of offers that could have been left. If she's in that same position, they hype her up. She like 8-1, maybe fight for a title shot, maybe not. And somebody called the big offer. She gone like that? Would she take the money and go?
You compare. Look, so here's the. I get where the comparison's coming in. But you can't compare Paige to Mackenzie because look, I was at Paige Van Zandt's first pro fight, and it was funny because I saw her weigh-ins. I didn't even know she was a fighter. I legit thought this was the ring girl.
Yeah.
And someone told me because I knew the girl she was fighting. She's a Texas chick, and they told me, "Oh, this was Jordan fighting." And I looked over and I saw her, and I was like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
I mean, bad. And Paige was brought in to lose that fight. And she came, and now they gave Paige a split decision for that fight, but Paige legit won that fight in this chick's hometown. And so it was one of those things, it's like, she's good. Like, she has, like, because she's an athlete. Paige, she was, like, doing cheerleading and dancing. Mm-hmm. So she's just an athlete. Mackenzie Dern is a legit, like, jiu-jitsu black belt.
Yeah, she's got a legit.
Oh, I saw that transition.
Yeah, she's got. I
saw that transition last night. You don't tell me twice.
Yeah, she wrapped her up quick.
You know, so I know people want to make that comparison. And it's only because of her looks, and that's it. Outside of her looks, there is no comparison between the two. But like you said, your question for like would she jump? You know, I legit feel in her mind that she can become champion. I'm as Mackenzie Dern. If I'm in her shoes, Mackenzie Dern feels that she can become champion. But the reality of it is she won't become champion, and the reason why is she's not gonna dedicate the time to MMA like she did to jiu-jitsu. You know, and I could be wrong. She could come back after last night's fight, you know, after the whole weight debacle, and she can sit down and she'll maybe like rethink this and be like, you know what, I'm gonna dedicate my life. You know, I know her. You know, John Crouch, her coach former coach in Arizona. You know, and you know I've been over there and I've gotten to train and talk to him, and this guy's putting out champions. And if I were Mackenzie Dern, I would be concentrating on being in that camp, training with these champions. But Mackenzie, she was like often traveling, doing seminars on the beach with her titties out. Not knocking it. I love the picture she posts on Instagram. But you can't have someone that with that kind of mind. Like, that's not a championship mindset, you know. And to kind of segue into myself, is like a lot of people talk about the Punk fight, and I'm like, look, everyone has different paths on what they're trying to do in life, you know. So for me, I'm just here to entertain. I love entertaining. I love fighting, and you put them together. I never had a goal or a dream to become the UFC champion. So you got a lot of these cats out here that are upset. Oh, you have Johnny over here who's put in. You know, he's been 10 years, he's 10-0, and he's not in the UFC. And why are you in the UFC? Well, because Johnny and I have two different goals. Johnny's goal is to become the UFC champion. I'm just here to entertain the crowd. So
you open the act.
That's it. I'm just here to have fun, you know. So you have people who have different paths, and in Mackenzie's mind, she wants that. She's trying to be on that sort of championship path, but in reality, she's on my path. She's on that entertainment path.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. And there's nothing.
That's a good breakdown. I appreciate that, Mike. That's a great breakdown.
There's nothing wrong with that, man, because that's the same thing.
It's not. And that's the thing. Is like there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. You had not everyone can become UFC champion. Look at it's 600 people on the roster.
Exactly.
all of those people want to become champion. Are they going to become champion? No.
No. And I don't know if all of them want to either, because some of the older guys, for example, Machida and Belfort last night, they say they want to become champion, but I don't think they know that they can,
But that's different, though. Like, those guys, but when I say want to become champion, I'm talking about from the onset. From when
I got you. Yeah,
They've both already been champions.
For sure. But it's the same. It's the same in the sense that they're not gonna become champion in the future. Like some of these other younger guys coming in, they have that focus of, I want to get to that title shot. But it's kind of the same thing. You have the guys that are climbing the ladder versus the guys putting on these side acts of, this is just a good fight to kind of fill up this card. Not everybody's chasing that championship dream at the same time.
Well, but no, I agree with that. But what I was saying is, and that was more of like a general idea here. But even with those guys, it's like you have two guys, you have two former champions, and if you've already gone down that, look, I guarantee you, if you're going down the path of becoming a champion, it takes a special kind of person to. I mean, look at John Jones. Like, the dude's crazy. It takes a special kind of guy to go down that path. And so now you have Lyoto and Vitor. Now, they've already become champion in this organization, right? Mm-hmm. But then once they've kind of fallen out of that limelight, all they know is fighting. All they know is how to become a champion. They're not going to lose a title. They're not going to lose a title like, all right, I don't want to do this anymore. No, they're going to keep fighting, and they're going to continue. Man, I want to get back to that. Because, again, their goal has always been, I want to get back to that belt. Now, eventually you understand that, like a Vitor or a Lyoto or whoever, you understand that you're not going to get that belt back, but you don't know anything else but fighting. So you just keep, so like I said, in general, the whole roster, the majority of them, their goal is to become champion. And again, you have some people like myself who just doing this for the entertainment aspect of it. And you have to look at it as such. You have to know your path in life.
Since we're on the subject of the champions, I want to get this one of my last questions for you, man. I want to get your opinion on what happened in the main event when you hear Raquel Pennington say, "I'm done." We've asked everybody else this on the show. We've heard a couple of different angles. So what was your take on it, man, when the corner was like, "No, you're going to go back out there in the 5th round"?
So I didn't hear, because I didn't have the audio up. I was at a party. I didn't hear until I didn't know until this morning about that.
Okay.
So going into the fight, I legit didn't feel that Raquel was ready. I feel that there are levels to it, to the sport, obviously, and it's nothing not taking anything away from Raquel, but she just wasn't ready for that, and we saw that, right? So you have someone who is, I mean, what round did they say? What round was it that they said it?
It was in between the 4th and the 5th.
Going to the 5th.
Yeah, going to the 5th round.
Okay, so going into the 4th round, I was just like, dude, like, she's getting beat up. And it was one of those things where, because I was telling people, I was like, yo, Raquel is tough. I mean, I think I tweeted too. I was like, she's tough. And when you have people like Raquel who, their goal, their dream is to become world champion, right? On top of that, they don't know how to quit. And so you in this fight, and again, she was just outclassed at every point of the fight. That's not a knock on Raquel. It's just what it is. And so you have this fighter who comes to you, and and the crazy thing is, she was cognizant enough to say, "Look, guys, this is not my night."
Yeah.
And the bad thing about it is you would have expected it to be the opposite. You would have expected it to the corner to say, "Raquel, yo, it's time to go home." And Raquel, and then you just expected Raquel to say, "I think I got this," right? Raquel, it was cognizant enough to say, "Look, I'm not winning this fight. I can't win this fight. We need to go, just take this L, recover, recoup, this is a learning experience," right?
Right.
You have these assholes in their corner, they're just like, no, because I think in their mind, again, my speculation, in their mind, it's like, this is their fighter. they want a champion in their gym or whatever the case may be. But in this modern era of MMA, you have to understand that this is almost life and it's life and death in there, and you can take too many punches and that could be the end of your career. You can suffer severe brain damage. So you have a fighter sitting here saying, "Nah, I'm done. I don't want to take any more damage because again, I'm gonna stop taking this damage now. We can live and fight another day." Yo, she could have legit died last night, and that would have been on her corner. Because they told this girl to go back in there. They shouldn't have told her to go back in there. It's bad. Look, if I'm in a corner and I've cornered several fighters, even my own fighters that I've trained as far as boxing goes. If I were ever in a position and a fighter told me, "Look, man," well, first of all, I know I would have probably stepped in before. But if a fighter comes to me and tells me, "Hey, man, look, let's go home," then that's all I need to hear.
Yeah.
Because again, at the end of the day, this is a fist fight you're in, and anything can happen. You can get severely hurt in this sport, and that's what a lot of these keyboard warriors and all these people.
Tell us how you really feel, Mike.
Yo, these dudes don't understand, man. You got all these dudes who like to talk shit on fighters and clown them and talk bad about them. It's like, yo, you can potentially. There are people who've died in this sport, man, and you got these fans over here clowning them, and I get it, like people, they're fans or whatever, and they feel this sense of entitlement. But the way I look at it is like they're entertaining us as fans. They're putting their lives on the line. You have to respect that. And the fans who boo, they don't respect it. And Raquel's coaches and trainers, they're assholes for sending her back out there. Because they don't respect the game, man. I don't think they respect Raquel to send her back out there like that.
Tell me this, Mike. I've asked both. We had Steve Warman Wright and Dean Thomas on. More than that, I'll take it a step further because I cover UFC and boxing. I want a few people that cover both and actually be there. Why don't people throw the towel in and say these fighters from themselves on a consistent basis when you see fights like this? That the guy or the female is not going to win, and they let them take unnecessary punishment just to say that they were warrior with the distance. Or, and within making adjustments, you'll see somebody like the Stipe Miocic fight. He was getting beat. He was beating down on Francis. Francis corner made no adjustments. So what? You see what was happening in the first 2 rounds. So what are you doing your fighter any good by not changing shit up and letting them just continue to get their ass beat?
Well, in the Francis thing, you have it where you have this guy. First of all, he couldn't make adjustments because there were no adjustments to make. He only had one. There was only a plan A.
That's what important. They don't have plan Bs.
There was no plan B. He only had a plan. His plan A was to knock him out. Yeah. And again, we saw once he couldn't knock him out, what happened. So they didn't have the knowledge to make the adjustment. But in those kinds of situations, like in a heavyweight fight, literally one punch can change the fight. So I understand, like, more in the heavyweights why they don't do it. But in the lower weights, why people don't throw in the towel, it's pride, man. You have to understand, it's like you have this warrior's mentality. In a fighter's mind, and you'll hear a lot of guys say it. It's like they want to go out on their shield. It's live or die. Like me, I'm good. Like, I'm not trying to die, dog. I'm not trying to die. So I take this L and I'll live to fight another day. Because people get caught up in this gladiator kind of concept in this Roman time where it was live or die. But now we have rules, we have reps to save us from that. Because if you look at what an MMA fight is, if you take morality out of it and you take rules and reps out of it, it's a fight to the death. The only thing stopping someone from dying, like let's say you're choking somebody out, right? The only thing stopping you from from killing him and holding on to the choke is you like, all right, I don't want to, there are rules, and then you have a referee to pull you off.
Yeah.
So there's this warrior spirit in fighters. Again, it takes a special kind of person to willingly step into a cage or ring and fight. Look, my mom been telling me since I was a little kid, something wrong with me. This was before I even started fighting, you know. So it's just one of those things, man. You have, especially in the evolution of the sport. This is a different time and a different era. This isn't like boxing in the '70s, you know. Like this is a complete different era, and you have to look at the especially because you have so many people who this is their life, like this is livelihood, right? And if you have a fighter who's out there getting decimated by someone, and you don't throw in the towel, just think about this accumulation of punches and attacks, and all this accumulation is just prolonging the recovery. So the longer you're out of fighting, the longer you're not making money, you know. And so we need to see more coaches and teammates stopping fights just to save a person's, not only save their career, but save them from losing income, losing money to provide for themselves and their families.
There it is. The truth is spoken, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Jackson getting ready to take on Phil Brooks at UFC 225, man. Best of luck in that fight, man. I hope to catch up with you after the fact, have you back on the show and talk about that whole experience, man.
Oh, for real, no doubt's gonna be done. Y'all coming out there or no?
I will not be there, unfortunately. I will not be out there. But I wish I could.
Watching. I'm going to UFC Fight Week.
The International Fight Week.
I'm trying to get out to Vegas for that one too, because that's we got the Black Beast on the card. He about to take out Francis.
On this very show, he broke it. He called him that 45-year-old.
Yeah.
I got you.
Hey, but Mike, off air, I gotta get your information, man, so we can exchange some info.
What's good?
I gotta get your info off air so we can exchange some info.
Oh, for sure, no doubt.
All right, man. Mike, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate your time tonight. Again, best of luck at UFC 225. And you catch Mike on catch his own podcast too, man. The Truth About Stuff is a good podcast. I don't miss an episode. And of course, follow him on Twitter, Instagram at The Truth Jackson. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you out there in action, man. Knocking off a pro wrestler turned MMA fighter.